Good morning, good evening, friends. Welcome to my channel called Ek Kitab Se Ek Moti, which in English means one pearl or gem from one book. Today I'm going to read a small section from the book The Power of Positive Thinking, written by Vincent Peale, who was one of the most famous pastors in the world. He used to deliver sermons that used to infuse encouragement, positive thinking, and motivation into the minds of his listeners. He was also a great writer. So, in addition to this book, he wrote several others. For example, You Can If You Think You Can, and The Tough-Minded Optimist, and Enthusiasm Makes the Difference, and several others. But he is known for this book, The Power of Positive Thinking, his bestseller. Now, let me read a few paragraphs from this book first, and then I'll express my own views on what I'm going to read now. You can think your way to failure and unhappiness, but you can also think your way to success and happiness. The world in which you live is not primarily determined by outward conditions and circumstances, but by thoughts that habitually occupy your mind. Remember the wise words of Marcus Aurelius, one of the great thinkers of antiquity, who said, "A man's life is what his thoughts make of it." Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor, I think, who also wrote this great book on how to think positively and how to endure pain and difficulty. I think he was a Stoic philosopher, if I'm not mistaken. It has been said that the wisest man who ever lived in America was Ralph Waldo Emerson, the sage of Concord. Emerson declared, "A man is what he thinks about all day long." A famous psychologist says there is a deep tendency in human nature to become precisely like that which you habitually imagine yourself to be. It has been said that thoughts are things, that they actually possess dynamic power. Judged by the power they exercise, one can readily accept such an appraisal. You can actually think yourself into or out of situations. You can make yourself ill with your thoughts, and by the same token, you can make yourself well by the use of a different and healing type of thought. Think one way, and you attract the conditions which that type of thinking indicates. Think another way, and you can create an entirely different set of conditions. Conditions are created by thoughts far more powerfully than conditions create thoughts. Think positively, for example, and you set in motion positive forces which bring positive results to pass. Positive thoughts create around yourself an atmosphere propitious to the development of positive outcomes. On the contrary, think negative thoughts and you create around yourself an atmosphere propitious to the development of negative results. Now, this book was written in 1952. I think the first edition was published in the 1950s. So you'll see that the language seems a bit outdated, but still it expresses the views of Mr. Peale extremely clearly. Actually, you can improve your vocabulary when you read his books. To change your circumstances, first start thinking differently. Do not passively accept unsatisfactory circumstances, but form a picture in your mind of circumstances as they should be. Hold that picture, develop it firmly in all details, believe in it, pray about it, work at it, and you can actualize it according to that mental image emphasized in your positive thinking. This is one of the greatest laws in the universe. Fervently do I wish I had discovered it as a very young man. It dawned upon me much later in life, and I have found it to be one of the greatest, if not my greatest discovery outside of my relationship to God. And in a deep sense, this law is a factor in one's relationship with God because it channels God's power into personality. This great law, briefly and simply stated, is that if you think in negative terms, you will get negative results. If you think in positive terms, you will achieve positive results. That is the simple fact which is at the basis of an astonishing law of prosperity and success. In 3 words, believe and succeed. Now, if you've listened to that great recording of Earl Nightingale, it's called The Strangest Secret. You'll see that Earl Nightingale refers to these passages, some of these passages. He has quoted Norman Vincent Peale in that recording. So now let me explain this in my own words. Our thoughts need to be renewed because in our world we are constantly bombarded with negative views and comments of others about our own abilities and about the opportunities available in the world. We need to shut our minds tightly against such negative influences. And then we should cultivate the mind by feeding it with good thoughts. So the idea is that we are responsible for the thoughts that we allow to enter our minds. And we are responsible for cultivating those thoughts as well. But let me dwell further on this idea. So our mind is like a garden. Thorns and unnecessary plants grow in it, and flowers and fruit trees also grow in the same mind. Just as a gardener uproots and throws away useless thorns and plants, you should also allow only good, positive, and healthy thoughts to reside or dwell in your mind, and uproot all thoughts that are negative or that do not help in your life. We create the environment and atmosphere around us through our ways of thinking, and also through our ways of imagining. If you are not happy with the circumstances of your life, then change your thoughts before changing the external situation. Now, it is true that life changes on the basis of karma or action, but the way of thinking is at the root of how we act. That is, before we do any action, it is our thoughts that motivate us or prompt us to do that act. So if you look at any work or challenge with a negative perspective, then you will accept defeat even before starting that work. But if you think positively, then you will do your work with enthusiasm, courage, bravery, and will stand firm like a rock in front of the challenges, and will confront them and move towards those challenges with courage and will crush them. That is, will overcome your challenges, and then you'll be successful in the end. Now the question arises as to what's positive thinking. It is a way of thinking through which we can use the power of God to fight and defeat our problems, challenges, and difficulties in our lives. Positive thinking is a way which takes us on the path shown by our Creator. Positive thinking teaches a person to live like a human being ought to live. A human being is one who knows that the power of God is present inside him or her, and he or she can let that power flow in every action of life, or through that action of life. This can happen only when that person adopts positive thinking and acts upon it. So to answer that question which I asked a few moments ago as to what's positive thinking, so it's a way of thinking that God would approve of. That this power of the Spirit is within each of us, and it is up to us to tap that power. So how do you tap that power? By thinking positively, thinking that, when troubles confront you or when difficulties surround you, you have that power of the Spirit to take on those challenges and difficulties and to defeat them. So how do we get positive thoughts, or what are the sources of positive thinking? Every religious text in the world is a treasure house of positive thinking. You can get positive thinking from the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, the Bible, the Quran Sharif, the Guru Granth Sahib, the Zen Avesta of the Zoroastrians. You can select such sentences and phrases and paragraphs from these books and write them in your diary or notebook or save them on your phone. Such phrases that give you courage, enthusiasm, bravery, happiness, hope, self-confidence, fearlessness, and other such good qualities which can be categorized as positive thoughts. Apart from religious texts, you can also read some of the books of Swami Vivekananda. You can read the books of Norman Vincent Peale. Dale Carnegie has written several books on positive thinking. Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich is a storehouse of positive thoughts. Jeffrey Gitomer has written his great book called The Little Gold Book of Yes Attitude. You can also read biographies and autobiographies of great men and women, because in autobiographies you really have a great opportunity to find out how people tackled problems, how they overcame defeat and gloom and negative situations, and how they ultimately became successful. I think one of the qualities you'll find in all these successful men and women is that they stand as a rock when problems and difficulties arise. So they don't accept defeat easily. In fact, they don't accept defeat at all, because they, I think, believe that they have the resources to tackle problems and to defeat them. So other than books, you can also watch good videos on positive thinking. YouTube has a lot of resources that can help you become positive. And yes, you can also listen to some of my upcoming videos. So I think that's it for today, friends. So I will meet you again in the next video. Until then, keep trying to bring the power of positive thinking into your life. Thanks for watching this video.